the Hallock and Currie-Bell family, and the beginning of the Southold Historical Society. On March 28, 1960, at a meeting with 60 people present, Anne Currie-Bell offered her home as headquarters for the new society and the upstairs for its first museum space. In May 1960, Southold Historical Society received a provisional charter. On July 25th, the society held its first meeting. Since then, the society has grown to include 15 structures at the complex, as well as offices, a store and archives in the historic H.W. Prince Building, and a nautical museum at the Horton Point Lighthouse. Joseph was born in Southold and attended school at the Bayview Schoolhouse and the Southold Academy. At the age of 20, he taught briefly at the Bayview Schoolhouse, and a year later he went to work for the Suffolk Times newspaper in Greenport to learn the printing trade. Later he worked for the Long Island Tract. Joseph served in the New York State Legislature beginning in 1898 and was elected to several positions in the town government during his lifetime. He served as a town clerk for many years and served on the local Board of Education. He was also a trustee, vice president, and president of the Southold Savings Bank. Ella Baldry came to Southold from upstate New York in 1889 to fill the unexpired term of a teacher at the old Bayview Schoolhouse, where she met her future husband. Joseph and Ella were very public-minded people. She wrote grammar school textbooks and lectured to teachers' groups, wrote for The Traveler, and created charming stories for children, and founded the Browning Society. She's credited with the first American translation of Grimm's fairy tales. Joseph and Ella's daughter Anne grew up as an only child. While on a European vacation, Anne, who was in her 30s, met her future husband Tom in a small Normandy village. He was painting, wearing a royal blue coat and a broad-brimmed hat pulled down over his eyes. He sat on a tiny bridge over a tiny rivulet called Riviere St. Gertrude. Anne wrote years later of their first encounter. Born and raised in Scotland, Thomas Currie-Bell was a talented professional artist. When he met Anne, Tom was in his late 50s and a widower. He was so taken with her that he followed Anne, who he referred to as his wee nanny, to America. He swept her off her feet by writing love songs with lyrics like, "I love you more than homeland, my homeland is with you," during their fairy tale courtship. They were married in 1929 and shared 17 years of devotion. Throughout the Currie-Bell house, you can see a number of portraits and landscapes by Tom Currie-Bell, who was a member of the Royal Scottish Academy and a portraitist of note. After their marriage, Anne dedicated herself to working as Tom's business manager and finding him commissions and arranging shows. Anne was very interested in local history. In the late 1950s, she was chairman of the Historical Committee of the Southold Peconic Civic Association. Among its achievements was a published guide designating and honoring local structures and sites of historic significance. The project engendered such a tremendous response that the Historical Committee gained over 50 new members. Anne was asked to form a historical society to promote awareness, enthusiasm, and pride in the historical background of the community. She and Fran Woodward, another local resident, worked together to found the Historical Society.